Hey guys, this is Midget and welcome to another episode of my Derby Career Mode. Here we get straight into the game against Everton in the Capital One Cup. I just want to say the title is not rude. It stands for Capital One Cup, that's why there's no K, and AIDS is the bad word. But here we get, I got a bit frustrated before this game, that's why I skipped the whole cinematics. And you can see my frustration when Berahino got a red card in the 4th minute for tackling Baines wrong. And I knew this was always going to be a hard game now. But I believed I could still win it, with the likes of Danny Ings, and so we started showing the early signs in the early minutes. Well, the first, you can't really call that early minutes, 16th minute, but the first actual chance came in the 45th minute, plus 3 minutes, where Danny Ings outpaced everybody, but Howard got the slightest of touches that sent it over the bar, and you could see that Danny Ings was frustrated. But then in the 51st minute, Ings chips it over to, I believe it is Bryson, yes it is, and he absolutely smacks it into the back of the net, and I was gobsmacked. That's a really good goal from our Cam, but I play him at right mid, but then a couple of minutes later Ward passed it through to Hendrick, and Hendrick didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do because there was no one in, and Baines eventually puts it out for a corner. I was like, okay, this is a bit better because I can get some men behind the ball, but I decided, is this taking it short? I don't know, but again, I lay it off from Bryson to Danny Ings, and he does a bloody Sean Barker. If that is the goal of the season, I'm actually going to scream. You can see how happy I am here because I was totally not expecting that. But he did a goddamn Sean Barker. Sean Barker did that against Nottingham, but this is against Everton. He does the exact same thing from the exact same range, to be honest, as Sean Barker, and that brings back memories. I sold Sean Barker, so I'm kind of sad. But that was a goal and a half. That was by far my favourite goal from Danny Ings, because that is just a sensational finish. And look, I was going to show you the sliders just to prove that I wasn't, what's it called, but then I forgot what I was going to do because, it took me so long. I was still, sort of dazed by that thing, and it took me so long to do, I didn't know what I was doing. But here you see the biggest AIDS you will ever see. Look, I mean, come on, just get rid of the ball, for God's sake. He didn't get rid of the ball, and we eventually managed to save it, but then it comes straight back to them, and 2 minutes later I tackle, I try and clear it with Oviedo, and I get caught up in the play. Runa Kone puts it to Seamus Coleman, who slides it past Darlow with his left foot. The young Irishman, the right back, on fire this season in real life. He's just put Everton back in contention to win this tie, but then as soon as they score, we go on the attack, and can we score? Hughes puts in an early ball, and instead of leaving it for whoever that is, Ings decides to take it upon himself and doesn't hit it correctly. But in the 67th minute, Naismith, I don't like Naismith, I don't know what's wrong with him, but I got really scared, and that is just wrong. Why, right? Yeah, I know that is my fault. I passed it into my own net, but think about it. Why would that even be allowed, implemented into the game? And it was just, I was panicking because there was in the penalty area, there was like the keeper box, so I was really panicking trying to get the ball away. And why would he put it into my own net? That shouldn't even be allowed because no goalkeeper would do that. But then in the 102nd minute, this is already added time because I forgot there was no 2 legs in this, in the FA Cup, or Capital One Cup, sorry, but there was absolutely no chances in this, in the added minutes, in extra time, so we went to penalties, and we scored ours, Baines missed his, we scored our second one, Barry scored his, Jesus, this is too quick, we missed ours, so they had the chance to go level on points, level on thingies with us, but I managed to save it. Then I put mine in, and Aruna Kone also put his in, and then we had the chance to seal the tie pretty much with Berahino, and he slots it in, so that was pretty goddamn awesome. And we win, I think, deservedly. We had 3 more shots on target, so we should really be winning this tie. But then we had the 2-week break until I finally got myself Tottenham picked in the draw, and I was really frustrated again about this, because we had a 2-week break, and instead of having it in a week, 1 week, like 1 week away from our next game, they put it 2 days away from our next game. But I was frustrated. That's why I skipped the cinematics, and Etienne Capill manages to slide it past the keeper, past I think that's Grant in the 12th minute, and then Eric Dier has an absolute howler. He tries to clear it, but I think that's Chadley heads it back to Soldado. And that reminded me of the Chelsea goal the other week, where Kyle Walker tried to head it back to Hugo Lloris, and Demba Ba got him on the mistake. But that wasn't really like that, because I didn't head it back. It was they won the header, so. But never mind. Bryson chips over to Danny Ings, who volleys it. Lloris saves it, and the defender manages to somehow hit it. And I was like, how the hell did that happen? But in the 42nd minute, it's already 2-0 for God's sake. And it's just, it can't get any better. Soldado wins a corner, but I'm not going to show you that. I don't think. Yes, and it's 2-0 at half time. Did I show you the second goal? I don't know. Because I just forgot about it. But we go in the 60th minute, we lob the ball through to Martin from Bryson. Martin decides to take it shot to Danny Ings, and Danny Ings hits the post. I wasn't particularly pleased, because Danny Ings is meant to be our main man, and he's not got high defensive work rates, but really he's standing back a bit more since last season, or last time I played this career mode. But this is the definition of AIDS, in my opinion. I know, but this title is called AIDS for a reason, because my players did not mark Soldado. But wait till the final goal. That's why this title is called EA AIDS, or COC AIDS, sorry, but Capital One Cup AIDS instead of COC. But that wasn't even a penalty, sorry I couldn't find you the replay, I was frustrated. But go back on it and try and see, it wasn't a penalty. Eric Dier won the ball, but he's had a terrible game this season. I mean, this game was absolutely terrible for him. But Soldado didn't manage to put himself a hat-trick on the scoreboard. He missed the penalty, but in the 90th minute, just look at this. One of our players is down. Oviedo's down, sorry. Grant, I think, tries to clear it, but one of our men get in front of it, and it falls down, and Dembele manages to score it. Like, what the hell? Oh, for God's sake. It just didn't go our way, this game, but yeah, Tottenham really deserved the win, I wouldn't say 4-0. If they got 8 on target and 4 in, we deserved at least 1 out of our 3. But I forgot to mention, this is actually a 4-game episode, so I allocated my budget here, and we go straight into the game with Southampton. I put in a pretty decent team. Instead of Bryson and Ward, I put in Bolly and Dawkins, and put Forsyth in because Oviedo was injured, like I said a minute ago. But the first chance came to Southampton in the 20th minute. Nathaniel Klein just runs with his pace, He managed to get past all my defenders and passes it through to Stephen Davis, the North Irishman, and he misses a bloody open net, and I was like, lol. But then the second chance came to us like 5 minutes later, and Bolly shows his pace, No one can catch up to Mathis Bolly, and we cross it in, but unluckily we hit the post through Martin, so unlucky. But then in the 41st minute, Hughes slides it through to Danny Ings. Danny Ings takes it on himself but fails. But luckily Martin, the striker on form like this time around in our second season, wins the ball and does his it looked like his first goal of the season. He did the exact same thing pretty much. So I was really happy to see that, because he's by far our best striker, I'd much prefer it to be Danny Ings, and Martin would be like Danny Ings right now. But you see him, Danny Ings is the one always behind Martin, and I don't understand it, because I put him in the more attacking role. I always put him in 4-4-1-1, and I put him at cam because the striker I always seems is behind them, but he still doesn't work. He's got a high defensive work rate for me in this career mode this time round, and unluckily Southampton win themselves a goal in the added minutes of the first half, but that was not to trouble us, as Simon Dawkins gets past the man of Southampton, crosses it into Danny Ings, and now I'm slating him, but now he found himself just a yard of space, should I say, and he managed, to get past Luke Shaw, the person he wanted, and Luke Shaw made a huge mistake letting Danny Ings off his eyes, and, that cost Southampton a goal and potentially the win. But in the 79th minute, Ings chucks it over to Bolly. Bolly crosses it into Martin, because I saw Martin in the open space. Boruc gets hand to it, but in the end, the header is too powerful for the Polishman, and Martin manages to head it into the net and secure us the 3-1 victory over Southampton. This game was pretty easy, and I don't know what to do, because World Class for me is too easy, but Legendary is too hard. So I don't know what to do. Maybe you guys could comment on what I could do, because I don't really know what to do at this moment. But Bolly sort of says thank you for the games, because I put him in squad rotational play, I believe, and Grant is disappointed with his lack of games, so I put him against Swansea, and I knew before this game that if we win, we can go first in the league. And you might be laughing saying this is unrealistic, but just before you say that, I need to tell you that we've still not played the major top 7 teams, apart from Man United, which we lost to, so we definitely won't sustain top 10. We might be in the top 10, but like 9th, because I doubt we'll be in the top 5 or 7, because we lost to Tottenham, we almost lost to Everton, which is like top 7 sides, and we've not played the rest. But the first half of this game was absolutely horrible. There was no shots. That scoreboard is wrong, But in the second half, unfortunately the video cut out, so I had to, put it as soon as it restarted. And Berahino crossed it into Danny Ings with a low cross, and Danny Ings manages to tap it into the net, past Michel Vorm. Really, really lovely cross from Berahino, I decided to put him over Martin, and Ings then, straight away from kickoff, scores me a 30-yarder at least. Look at this. I decided to pass it to Danny Ings, no one gets to him, and he just lets it fly. And that could be the goal of the series, you never know. Everton or Swansea, but in the 67th minute, we pass it over to Bryson, who manages to beat Michel Vorm to the ball. And this, by the way, guys, is just a goal-only game, because it's the 4th game, I don't really need it. But we crossed it over to Bryson. Bryson manages to get there before Michel Vorm, and he gets the 3rd goal. But Berahino then passes it to Hughes. Hughes slides it through to Ings. Ings finds Berahino. Berahino does a nice little drag back to find Ings. We get a bit lucky there, as I think that's Tiendali just forwards the ball a bit. But I love this skill from Berahino. Tiendali hits the ball further, tries to get it to the path of Williams, but it doesn't work, and Ings gets his hat-trick, and the first hat-trick this season. So yeah, so that's basically it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to give that a like and comment, please. And yeah, so I'll see you in the next episode. This is Midget, and I'm going to see you guys next time.